Okay, look at this. So this is this light on the highest it can go. And I was messing around and did something and it was on the highest. So, anyways, I saw this and I was like, man, my eyes look so bright and blue. And then I go down to the light that I use and go all the way to the other end. And look at how it's like my eyes change colors. Like, isn't that weird? Like, it's probably totally normal depending on how much light is reflecting off of your eyes. But I don't know. That shows is, I don't know, it's kind of trippy. So I don't know. I wanted to share that. And it seems like, you know, I don't know, everything about life is this reflection. Like, we have the ability to see ourselves when we have the eyes to look. And it's like the experience has different meaning when you look at it as what you can learn from it than when you are looking at it trying to control it and then you're angry at the energy because it's not going in the direction that you think it should be going. And so it is like the people who you interact with are always reflecting back to you yourself. But instead, you're always looking for what's wrong with everybody. And then we all got caught up in this cycle of caring so much about what other people thought about us. And you can see how it is, well, it was so created in order to distract us and make us feel inferior, make us never feel good about ourselves or uh, righteous, which that is important to feel righteous, to feel right about you, to feel right about your life. So that makes sense. But that was weird. I keep having dark flashes going all around the place. Like it's crazy. It's so crazy. I figured out how to make some cookies without flour. These are just peanut butter and I don't know how, I mean, the amount of food that we can eat for each of us is different. It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller to me. It's like, oh my God, but I still get hungry. It's like my body still gets hungry. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the hell? I don't know. Oh, now we're back on the bright. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, things are so weird right now. Everything is weird. My car, I haven't even heard anything about that. I don't even know what. Um, but there was some weird shit. Is yesterday, well, there was this whole buildup, to the thing, which they're taking down accounts like crazy. So it's going to be a lot more hidden language, talking code in order to stay, it's like, come on. So they're taking down tons of accounts. Um, there's tons of drama going on this platform. TikTok, I'm not sure about what's going on X. Apparently, there was somebody live, uh, somebody killed somebody else live, though, and that was broadcasted. It's like, oh my God, there's so much fucking horror. I can't get these babies crying out of my fucking head. They keep having these court, uh, there's so fucking many horrible court things going on. So fucking so many. Oh God. It's so crazy when you can see it up ahead and you can see it. It's just like, yeah, that's going to happen. And you don't have the same feeling as when you're going through it and you're looking. It's like, oh God, this is so painful. And the thing is I really think this has to do with the awakening, and it has to do with us being able to regulate ourselves and monitor ourselves through such harsh and really horrible times. It's like primitive is coming into my mind, but it is like we need to learn how to self-regulate through this because it really is all these different soul stories playing out, different people's lessons, and the awakening, taking off our visors and being able to see what's around us. That's what's around us. And out of fear and panic and control and all this stuff, we want to fix it. We want to tell people how to live and stuff like that, but that isn't what the story's about. The story's about us being able to figure out how to regulate ourselves and allow other things to happen and be able to see the good that's going to come from things. And it's hard, man. It's fucking so hard because yeah, I was really getting eaten up yesterday with the dog thing. Oh, and I forgot to say about the thing that blew my mind yesterday. I wrote it in the comments. I'm gonna quit sharing the TikToks in the comments. I mean, I think that there's a lot of good ones, and it's law confirmation stuff and the things I talk about too. That they're all there, but I don't think anybody really watches them or cares too much. If somebody wants me to keep sharing them, then tell me. Otherwise, I'm just not gonna bother. But the one that got me that was live, because it had been all these lives for so long of this war-torn, people running, oh, these people are getting blown up, and you had to keep going past them, like, I don't want to see this, I don't want to see this. And then you had video after video, people crying, oh my God, that was people with no heads, oh my God, this was that. It was all this fucking horrible drama playing out. And so now, all of a sudden, every day, all day long, this guy is live. And I have not seen this before at all. This is like all of a sudden when the Dead Sea came out. Or whatever it was, the North Sea or whatever, that fucking brutal sea. All of a sudden we all were seeing that. Well, now all of a sudden it's the Pakistan, and it's just, that area, only it's live all day long, and it's fucking beautiful. It's beautiful. And the people are not going around in rags. They're driving around. It looks like Miami. And it's all day. There was like some part where he was down by some buildings and stuff, and they were built out of something that I don't know, probably something that sand uses to build their stuff or something. But um, the but it was beautiful. It looked like how when I went to some of the parts of Spain, and I was like, well, that's weird. That's weird. That's where it really was twisting my mind because I wasn't even expecting that. I was like, there's been a few places that you have an image in your head of what something looks like, especially when they keep pushing an agenda, narrative, or whatever, and then you see some other pictures, and it's like, what? What? That can't be. That can't be. I was like trying to investigate. There's people in his comments. They're all talking different language. He's bilingual. He's going back and forth. People in the comments. Some of the stuff you can't even read it. So in one part, it had the music blaring out over the radios, like when you've seen, I don't know, in some other countries. Anyways, it looked like it was beautiful and thriving. It didn't look war-torn, that's for sure. So that was just like, oh my God, is this the kind of stuff now is going to start coming out to get people to be like, wake up? And so that was the thing I was going to say yesterday that I dropped off on. But what was been really just killing me is this, all these dogs, and it was hitting me so hard, is where in the fucking hell did where did this kill shelter thing ever come from? Like, how did we ever get there? How did we get to this where people go out into our communities and round up homeless pets, homeless animals, and then take them back to their place and then put them on a death sentence? I mean, they're fucking rounding them up, and I mean, these animals have like 24 hours, 48 hours. Some of them are not less than a year old, and they're just kill, 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 kill. Like, what in the world? Like, something's got to be done. Luckily, I had seen a couple of videos too where one of them, I have seen some shit that is so synchronistic. Like, I'm telling you, there's gonna be more and more of when you start seeing the magic, you just can't stop seeing it. The guy who does the lawns, I think he's called like SB Lawn Service or something like that on TikTok. He has these cool ass videos because he'll do these extreme yards and he'll go and do them for no money, but he makes a shit ton off of the videos. I talked about him a long time ago and I was like, man, this guy's innovative. Like, this guy is smart. And then he is just blown up. Like, I could see that coming, man. And so he is, he's well known, and I think it was somebody had asked him to come to their city or state or something and do a yard. And so he went to go do it and he found an injured cat in this yard. And so he was trying to save it. So he's got a huge following. So this built up people watching, like, because he has a huge following. And he makes money off of his videos. So he started calling all the shelters in the area and asking them to take this cat that was injured, and all of them refused. All of them refused. He finally found one, and they said that they would take him, and it was a rescue place. So they took him and were willing to do the work. They were doing everything they could to save this cat. I don't remember all the stuff, but they had a side story. So this was a rescue place. They've been going for a year or 4 years. I can't remember which it was because I've seen so many of these stories lately. But I think theirs have been going 4 years. And they had done lots of rescues and helped a lot of animals and stuff. But they had run out of money. There was no money. They were stuck. They didn't know what to do. And so this guy said, well, I'm going to start a GoFundMe and, tell my people, my followers, and then you, whatever we collect, I'll give it to you. And so their goal was 10,000 to try and raise for this place to stay going. And it ended up raising 140 and was still going. And it just makes me emotional. I want to start crying because that's the direction we're going. This direction where we have real people who really care about these certain things, who are going and taking us in a new direction off of this fucking murdering animals because they don't have a person to protect them. It's like, and there's so many, animals that the person doesn't protect them. There's so many horrible stories of, there's so much abuse going on, animals and kids, and so much murder and mayhem and horrible, horrible treatment. This is the purging out of all this dark energy that has been around us, and it's been so uncomfortable around us, but it's very uncomfortable to watch it purge out too, and to see, like, how did our society get so dark. And one of the crimes, the one who I was talking about yesterday, now that girl keeps coming in my mind again. Is her name Blair or something like that? I was know she's Ryan Reynolds' wife. She was in the Traveling Pants. She was in some other movies and stuff too. She's in a lot of movies. She was in Gossip Girl. But anyways, so she supposedly got all involved in the traffic, or, trying to expose certain things that were going on. And so she was talking about it at a thing. It's just weird because Ryan Reynolds gets so elevated in the system. It's like, man, you'd think they would shut him down if she was really telling us some stuff. Or they would do her in or something. Like, they don't stand for that. So it's hard to, that's a hard one for me to wrap my mind around. So that's where I'm like, oh, I don't know about all that. But she had said some stuff still about, like, that thing with the babies, like that is their primo thing. When you're ordering the top thing, that's what people want, is this fuck things to death. It so boggles the mind. It's like, it's hard for any of us to even fathom. Like, where would you even come up with something like that? Like, why would that even become a thing? Like, why? I don't understand at all. It's so using other beings. It's not even, there's nothing participating about it. It's so brutal. It's so, But so the guy who did that to the girl's, his girlfriend's kid, who's a 9-month-old little girl, and that one, the court thing, I think they listened to that baby screams for a half hour. I don't know if he videotaped this shit or what the fuck happened. I don't, it's so disturbing. It's so disturbing that the town has asked for him to be hung in the town square. They're asking for a public uh, hanging. They want him right there. They all want witness. Now, I said in the comments to that, well, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. There's going to be a lot more because this moral compass is coming on in people. And people are going to be outraged. There's people who are doing dirty deeds that you may have got away with some shit when things were dark, but this is the light. This is when things flip. And these people are not going to see it coming. There's a lot of people who don't see it come. And you know another thing that's disturbing? One of these guys who is on trial right now, he just got the death penalty. And there's weird videos with him. But what's really weird, it's got some people really outraged. Like they're doing videos about it. And this is how I saw about it. Because I go past those as fast as I can, but you still hear snippets. And sometimes you'll hear a part where it's like, what? And so you'll sit and listen for a second, and it's like, oh, fuck no. And I knew this guy, a young guy, and he brutally killed a couple of girls. And one of them, she didn't die. He started running over her. And this is what I had heard earlier about he had turned her into spaghetti. And so I had heard that. And I didn't know, I hadn't put all these pieces together. And so it's that guy who's on trial right now, who just got the death penalty. And apparently, I don't see how these girls, like there's girls that are lusting after him. But I just watched the Ted Bundy, another one of those Ted Bundy movies that was a new one, I think. It was a Lifetime one. I don't know, it might not have been new, but it was a Lifetime one. And it was, I think, from Anne Rule's perspective, because she knew him. She met him when they were both working at a place that, suicide prevention place. And so it was fresh on my mind about these groupies, these fucking serial killer groupies. Like, I don't understand what they are fascinated by. So anyways, there was all these girls at Bundy's trials all the time. And so that's this when there's all these girls online lusting after him. There was another guy, and that guy, the other guy was really good looking. I remember him popping up on, I think it was way back on Facebook. And then this really good looking guy popped up, and everybody was going crazy for him. And then everybody found out like he was a criminal. He was prisoner. And I can't even remember the whole story on that. But it was like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, he's cute. But see, that shows you, like, looks are deceiving. And so this guy, all these girls are lusting after him. I saw him walking in court, and he looks like tall, you know. But his face is tattooed so creepily. Like he's got a skull teeth going across with a big Joker smile. He's got like, he definitely looks like, he's a part of his head, he's got a giant swastika right there. He's got another one on his face. Like he's hardcore. And you've got all these girls going crazy, lusting after him, thinking he's so hot. It's like, oh my God, you've got to see what's wrong with our society. I'm like, this guy brutally killed someone, and you guys just overlooked that? I'm like, well, he's hot. I give him a shot. It's like, for what? Because he's good looking? Like, what? This movie popped up yesterday. And when the movies pop up, I just leave them because I always feel it's the communication from my spirit guides and stuff. And this movie, it had popped up a few times and I had not watched it. I had just gone past it on the thing. But it kept standing out to me. And then there was some people in it. It's like, ugh, so many of those people at this point. It's just like, ugh, there's so many things I can't even stand to watch. Like, yeah, and that's why I think old movies are so much safer. Like, at least all those people, you know, we're not hearing all these fucking horrible shit. And, so this one was, this weird movie about all these women, and, one of them, the Jennifer Aniston character. She's not doing well, whatever, and so she's become a maid, and her uh, friends who are, it's like two different categories, like a lower class with a higher class, so there's all this stuff going, and like, well, she should try harder, she should do more, all this kind of stuff. So it's like one of those kind of drama, like look at it from this perspective, look at it from that perspective and stuff. But one of the things in it is how bad Jennifer Aniston lets especially this one guy, treat her. Oh my God, it's aggravating. And then it's like, but this is what happens when you don't feel good about yourself. When you feel bad about yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you let people treat you so fucking horrible. It's no wonder we all go around feeling bad about ourselves. We've all let people treat us bad because we didn't have good self-esteem. There was one scene in it where this guy is like, wants to have sex with her. And so she's doing it, and she's just laying there like, oh my God. And he's just going to town, not even at all tuned into her, not at all paying attention to her. Then he even leaves and says he can't go to dinner. And she follows him and finds out he's gone out to dinner with somebody else, using the money he told her he needed of her work money because he tagged along. So he should get half of the money. It's like, and she gives it to him, even though she doesn't want to. She never stands up for herself. She has no boundaries. She is beat down. And it was really sad. And the thing that supposedly beat her down was she had a job at this really fancy school, and she wasn't fancy. She didn't have a fancy car. So the kids would make fun of her. All these rich kids would make fun of her, throw money at her and stuff like that. So she got too depressed. And so she quit her job, and then she started becoming a maid. And, but, being a maid is fine. Like I've said before, like that's the kind of job I think a lot of people would want. You just go get your job done, go home, and you don't have to, you do just normal stuff. Like go clean somebody's house. If you're good at cleaning, I think that's a completely reputable job. Your own business, doing your own thing. They've tried to make so much overstep, but all their overstep is going away. And I just saw somebody doing a video of down at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, and everything was closed. Restaurants that had been open since the 20s have closed down. They are so hot to close all of our businesses, to beat us down. And the thing is we got to just keep dog paddling through this. We don't just give up. Or we sometimes just lay on your back, surrender to it, and just relax and surrender and just ride it. But you got to keep going. You got to keep going. Because that's this is the battle of them trying to break us down and distract us and stuff. And and so there was all this drama going and leading up to this Thursday night thing, right? And so they were taking down accounts. CNN said they're the only ones who can show it. They're gonna make charges on people for copyright, like all this shit. And which to me is exposing all the corruption and the bias, and but a lot of the people are not completely woke up to all of the, all these people are owned by the same fucking people, so they have to wake up to it. And some of it, and the stuff that wakes them up is always outrageous and stuff. That's why this stuff is so ridiculous. There's so much ridiculous bullshit that is just like, oh my God. And then people take it all serious and they're arguing and fighting about it. It's just like, oh my God. This awakening is so fucking tedious. But that is the part where we got to look inward in ourselves and realize, again, where we are, what we're doing here, what's going on with everybody. And part of it too is why we feel so much compassion and empathy. That's a part of us that's being ignited. That's a part of us that we're realizing again in this connection. Because before, we were all going through our own little worlds out there just trying to survive. We weren't worrying about this and worrying about that, and all the dogs at the shelters, and all the kids getting, it's come out like there's 1 million kids go missing a year globally. And I bet you there's so much more, like in places like Haiti, the Strip. They've got certain fishing pools that they really, oh, Hawaii. I mean, yeah, these people are just, uh, I don't know. They hunt us. Like, they do it for sport even. They even have a whole thing about that as a part of what they do. Even when they have some of the ones when they have a whole bunch of kids and they'll put them out in this forest and the kids don't even know what's going on. And then they do it to adults too. But we've also got other psychopaths and serial killers that go do it too. I was like, the world is full of a sickness that is brought and it's hidden in the dark. It is a disease that resides in the dark. And I think you have to really look at yourself, and see how much darkness you carry. How do you feel about other people? How do you look at things? And if you have a lack of compassion and empathy, then you can recognize, like, you got some dark to get rid of, like, send it packing. So all the drama that was being created about this Thursday night event, and then the wild thing is they were making like, nobody was gonna see it. Well, I'm sure the fuck not gonna go watch that. I'm not gonna waste any of my time or energy on that shit. And it was every fucking video. I couldn't believe it. It was like every single person on TikTok was live watching it. It was like, okay, well, good. Give them all the views. Like, that's cool. It's like, so I saw a few different clips of it, and now you're getting all the replays, all the people. You've got all these people. It's so ridiculous because the news, of course, is saying Joe lost because this is going to be, they've got to get him out. How they're going to play this out, I don't know. Are they going to be, honest and forthright and say, yeah, this has been a guy in a mask? Which I just want to say to the guy in the mask that you are doing a sensational job. Like, definitely come across as a senile old guy. Like, no doubt about it. And I don't think that they would put a senile old guy out there to do it because they wouldn't have control. Like, this guy is playing a senile old guy, and what a fucking, needs to be awards for this performance, that's for sure. So, anyways, I saw a few different clips of the thing going. I was like, oh my God, I thought there was going to be a lot more drama. There was even people saying somebody was going to die at it. It's like, come on, let's move this thing a little bit faster. But then you see all the people reacting, and you see all these people so caught up. Like, man, so many people. And all these people, like today, there's all these like group live things and all these people discussing it, debating. There's people who think Joe won. Like, what? The guy, he was skipping around. When I saw him, he couldn't even stay on topic. He's having to look like he's looking for notes. There was somebody who said that they could hear somebody talking to him. So I don't know if he has an earpiece. But I swear in 2016 when Donald and Hillary were doing that, I saw a wire thing in hers. Maybe they all have them. Maybe they're all being spoken to through, I don't know. It's all just a big fucking show. And right now, the show is all just so absurd. So that we wake up and we go like, this is stupid. Why do we want this? Why do we want that? And, of course, Donald has said a few things. He's bringing up central casting. So he keeps making like, well, if this was a movie, that guy's the perfect guy for the role and stuff. So he keeps trying to get that into our minds. Like, this is a movie. There's people cast in these roles. This is showing something playing out so that people can gradually awaken to what has been going on, because our minds have been under such mind control, and the mind control has got people so hooked in that it's going to be hard to break free. Like I said, religion, and there's people who are going to still feel completely helpless without Western medicine. I just saw a girl and she popped up a couple of times, and she has this rash all over her face, and she was talking about one of the days, I don't remember. I don't have any idea. There's so many people in crises, and it's so much. It's just drama after drama after drama after drama. The whole fucking thing. It's like I'm so turned off. But then it's like, oh, then I'll be sitting here going, I wonder what's going on in the world. Is anything happening? Which it does seem like there's stuff happening. There's more stuff. It just keeps going, and it seems like it's going faster, 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 faster. But so she has this rash, and now it looks like it's like spread all over her face. And so the video I saw today, she was saying that it's skin cancer, some rare skin cancer and it started with this little dry spot here. And so she showed it when it first started. I didn't watch the whole video. I told her, I just went in there and said, get some castor oil, put it all over your face, and take some of the horse face stuff. And I don't know. I leave comments all the time. I don't even know if they ever even get seen. Try and spread the news or whatever. But right now, this one by my eye is really like, it keeps burning and itching. It's doing something weird. And I don't know if it's irritated because I'm trying to stay on top of the black seed oil to keep drying this out. And I can tell when I need more because my eyes start feeling more spongy and feeling more, and sometimes when I'm like pushing, I can even hear, I know there's a lot of fluid. I know that's what's interfering. And I just saw a fucking creepy ass video with the guy who, because I keep saying this shit, that these floaters are fucking bugs and shit. And they say, oh no, it's just floaters. I'm like, what the fuck? You can see it's a motherfucking bug. And this guy went into the eye doctor, and I think he had perfect vision, and all of a sudden he couldn't see. There's some kind of weird thing. I don't remember the whole story, but when the eye doctor went in and looked, he saw a worm in there, and so they figured out it's a eye tapeworm. So it was a worm that he got from eating pork, and it traveled up through his blood system, got into his eye through the vein that leads into there, and then he was swimming around in there, and it was causing inflammation. It was causing some problem, and they got it out with surgery. This is only the second time this doctor has ever seen this, and but there's other cases of it. This isn't, like nobody's ever had it, because they knew what it was, and they said it will lay eggs in there, and then the eggs can all hatch out, and then they'll go up and start eating their brain and eating holes in their brain. Look at how much we need the goddamn fucking horse pay. Like, what the fuck? And I wonder if he would have taken that, if it would have killed those. Like, I still see some, but my eyes were getting much more clear, especially with the black seed oil stuff. So, and some of this stuff is way slower. It's just slower. Like, the growths on Stella, they seem to just be sitting there. Also, I'll feel like it gets on with my hair, where it will seem like it's going, and then all of a sudden it seems like it slows down. Then it's going and it slows down. I don't know. Yesterday I was looking and I could barely even see it. It's always when I'm sitting here in front of this light. But in other lights, I just don't think it shows up as much as it does with this one. So I know all the things are going in a certain direction. If you are trying to take care of yourself and you're focused on that, it's going to keep going in a positive direction. Anything you do that you're putting out positive is going to keep going, just like that lady's place. Now they got $140,000 to go towards all of this rescuing in wherever area she is. And not only did she get all that money, and there's more coming, but she started having trucks show up with all this Amazon stuff. People were donating so much stuff. I mean, that is going to be so much in the direction that we're going to be going. So much with just a more compassionate society, a more caring society. I really think we'll get to the point where there won't be this weird thing with the numbers with pets. I think there's a lot of people who decided to get some dogs and start breeding them because it seemed like an easy way to make extra money, and we're just overrun. We're overrun with dogs. Because after seeing all those yesterday, I kept thinking, when did this kill shelter thing start? When did this whole thing start? We're going to just take all these animals and just kill them. And how? And where did the money come from to begin with? Like, is this a part of our money and our taxes that we give and it goes to the shelters, but then we don't get a say that we don't want to kill them or something? Like, or did we just ignore them on the ballot? Like, when did this start? And and when I was a kid, I kept trying to think back, like like we had one dog. We had one dog. We had a Saint Bernard named Samson when I was pretty young, and well, I was in grade school, maybe going towards junior high, and I don't remember what happened with that dog. I know he died at some point, died from something, but I don't remember. But it was like he was in the garage. Um, I don't even remember playing with him or anything like that. Like, I don't even know what the roles of were dogs back then or something. And so then I don't remember there being a lot of dogs in the neighborhood. I remember there was another dog because a kid got bit by it in the face and had to get stitches. And that was a big fucking deal. And but I kept trying to think of everybody's house and everywhere I went. It wasn't like you went and everybody had a dog. And there really was, like, you went up to the market and, people would give their puppies for free. Now they want you to buy, little mutts for 300, $600. But it used to be that it was constantly free puppies. And, but it wasn't like there was so many. We got overrun because so many people. It's like kept doing it and doing it and get more and more and more and more. And now we've got millions of pets being put to death every day. And I mean, we've got all these people that don't even care about their kids. Like, that video keeps going too of her court case. In the video, I don't understand if this is like a nanny cam or something. Did she have a nanny cam and she watched her daughter die? Like, I don't understand where this is coming from. Why didn't anybody rescue this kid? Did nobody hear this kid crying? It's heartbreaking. And she's sitting there, mom, and she's 16 months old. And who knows? I don't even know what killed her. If it was dehydration, starvation, if she did something, who knows? I just can't even believe that people have no caring or compassion like that. See, that's why it's like turning on, but that's why it's so uncomfortable. It's so hard. So hard to watch. It's like you want to be angry at people. You want to fix things. You want to solve it. You want to do all this stuff. But see, that's why we're learning to control ourselves. To be able to be an observation, to be like a watcher, to be able to watch and learn, to not be like, well, I've got to zoom in. I'm Superman. I know what's going on. I'll fix it all, because that's not our business. And that is our instinct. Or to put people down if they don't want your help. Well, they're a stupid idiot because you know what the fuck you're doing and they don't. Like, you can tell from our behaviors why it is that we have to go through these times of challenge to be able to witness this as it plays out. And it's very hard. And I mean, there's another hard part to me is like, I say stuff and it's way out there in the fucking dark somewhere where nobody gets to hear. And then, they stifle my account. And so then I say stuff and, I mean, there was a few people heard, but there was a long time where it was like 10 people. And then when you go and you see these people who are waking up and saying stuff, and it's like, oh my God, I've already said that. It's just that part frustrates me. So I know that's a part that I've got to heal somehow and, let go of, whatever. But that is frustrating, especially when you're saying stuff and people keep, thinking you're so crazy. And then, and you knew you were right. And now other people are saying it and they aren't getting, well, they could be getting told that they're crazy. I don't know. I just feel, I feel like there's a sense of relief for more people to see what you see and makes you feel more like like, or you understand, or you're not crazy. And this time period is crazy making, man. I mean, it feels so crazy. It is so hard to ground into this energy, to have something to hold on to. Everything feels fleeting. Everything feels like it's going. And I think there was a guy who, oh yeah, I don't know if this guy is just this book he made up or something, because he was talking about Looking Glass and that he worked on this project. And I don't know if he's making this all up, but so he worked on this project, and then he realized, because they were trying, so how he's saying what they do is they get these people to go in and like think of certain things, and then it's like it ripples out into the rest of us. That's why we can direct the energy by being more positive. The more that we all start turning positive and stuff, the more that's going to keep going. But so they were used to create negativity. And then when they questioned it, they were told, well, this is the betterment for the people. This is, but then he started seeing like, oh, this is just for the government to control. And so he quit. But he said that August 8th, there's supposed to be something big that's going to happen. And that he's trying to get everybody to listen to him so we can redirect the energy, so we can do something. So I don't know. That Cliff High guy said the middle of July there's going to be some kind of huge drama. There's people who say astrology stuff, but I don't really even listen to any of the astrology stuff anymore, because they're just basing it on books and stuff and not basing on what's really going on in the sky. And so the stuff that's going on in the sky isn't matching. Everything is, there's no congruency, and everything is falling apart. So there's a lot of things like, but I know that there's these huge shifts coming. I know that the energy's changing. I know we're going into a new age. I know everything's about to change. And I know we have to go through the shedding of all of what was there before, which was so fucking toxic. Like, oh my God, it was so toxic. So, this video too, this is disgusting. I don't know how people find this shit. It was some old movie with Clint Eastwood, and it would have been back from when I was a kid, though. And I don't know, I think he's like 30 years old. I think he's like a cowboy or soldier or something. And this little hillbilly girl, this girl from the mountains or something, she is like 11 or 12, and he kisses her, and he's asking her how old she is, and it's like, okay, good enough to kiss. So it's so gross. It's like the guy who was making this video said, well, that's it for Clint Eastwood, I'm never watching him again. And that's the way it does. It's like, that's sick, because even if you're the actor, why would you say okay? And what parents are pushing their kids out with these pervs and letting their kids be perved on? Because even if Eastwood isn't a perv, which still, like, gross. Kiss a 12-year-old? Or she could have even been 10. Who fucking knows how old she is? It's just gross. And there's, oh man, there's so many different things going on. There's so much stuff still with the water. There's weird shit. People doing weird shit. People not thinking. People weird interactions with nature and animals. There's so many of that going on. There's like such a lean-in disrespect and egocentric kind of way that people approach nature. And so it's like that part has to fall apart. There's a lot of things that kind of have to fall apart. A lot of energies that people held on to. Pervy old man syndrome, fuck. There's a woman who was doing a video, and she was out at a pool, I think in a hotel or something. And so she was at the pool real early in the morning, and she was going to swim laps, and it's marked for laps. So she starts swimming her laps. This old guy. I've been perved on by a really old guy, though. Like, and it comes out like it's shocking. It's shocking. The one who did it to me kissed me, and it's like, oh my God, it's so shocking, and it's so ugh. And so he starts swimming across her, like this. And so she's trying to swim her lap, so she couldn't even do it. So finally she gets out and he just keeps doing it. Like he thinks he's looking all sexy. He looks like if you put Joe in a swimsuit and put him out in the pool, like it's horrible looking. And so then he's going back and forth across. It seems like something out of a nursing home. Then, so she finally gets out of the pool because he keeps going into her every time, like he's doing it on purpose. So she just gets out of the pool and gets frustrated. Another guy comes, starts swimming laps. So the guy starts swimming the right way. And she's like, oh my God. So she's videotaping. I don't think this guy knows that she's videotaping this whole thing. And so she videotapes him. Then he comes over in the pool by the ladder right next to her and starts doing these weird exercises where she goes like he's humping the pool. Like he's just doing these little like lifts. It's weird. Why would you go? Like her purse is right there. Like why would you go up so close to this woman? Like, what in the hell? That's what I mean. Like, there's some pervy old men out there that are just like, have been riding that energy for a while. There's pervy old men hitting on young girls. It's like, dude, what do you think? Like, you look like their great grandpa. Why do you think all these young girls have they just sold people on just sex, sex, sex that they really think that all these girls just want to go out and just bang everybody? And there's a huge uprising in the H with the I and the V at the end in Houston right now. There's a huge amount of cases, which that was already leaked out in back when this was all the storm talk, and that was in it. That was in it. That there's a bunch of shit that they put in it because this was, see how sick we can make them, and then force them to come to us for the whatever the antidote, the cure. And so now you have all those people, but that's going to be in more places. It's not going to just be one place. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have it right now. And the people who are starting to notice, they weren't talking about that. They were talking about just, one of the people I heard was saying about the wrath of God, same thing as what was being said when we were hearing it the first time. But in all of this frivolous sex, like people just having sex with strangers and stuff, what do you think's going to happen? Like Tinder and Hitch and I don't know, all these different ones that they go on and I'll hook up Grindr. I don't even know how many there are hookup things where people just go to have sex. And it's like, people have to recognize why you're going and doing that. You're using it as a drug. You're using sex as a drug. Is you can satisfy yourself. You don't need to go out. And that was the thing too in that movie. That guy was not even tuned into her. She's just sitting there looking around the room and he's just going to town. There was no connection. It's like, what do you want to have? Like, why is that an appealing thing for you? Just to be used by somebody so that they can get off because they've got things on their mind and they're trying to relieve their anxiety or something. That to me is a lot more, people need to get more independent in their sexual gratification or something. Not be so dependent on somebody else needs to come in and solve it for me. Like even these guys, like who want to go do things to get like, I mean, you got a hand. You can put as much pressure as you want on that. And there's other things you can go buy. I mean, if there's things that you need to just so tight because you have lost your communication and your ability to have sensation because you've gone so much in fetish world or something, like that is where you got to figure out how to back up and get yourself back to a different position, because that's what it does. It eats at your soul, like these fetishes and all that stuff. It gets it to where nothing will satisfy you. You need the darker and darker stuff. If you're getting off on one dark thing, then pretty soon that loses its thing and you got to go darker and darker and darker. And we have people, who want to do people in while they're doing it and stuff. Like it gets pretty damn dark. And so that is a part of that is being purged out of society. seeing. I think that the sickness has more to do with us seeing, you know, the control that they have over disease and stuff in our lives and keeping us sick, and what the whole reason is that they would do that. I mean, what better way to control society than to keep them sick and dependent on you? If you hold a golden ticket and they're all running to you for the cure, so, and we're all sick, like, all the motherfucking time. Like, all the fucking time, I swear to God. As soon as you start feeling good, then it's like, here comes another wave. It's like, I can't even believe the pain inside of my body. It's like, this is some son of a bitchin' bullshit. This finger is so swollen and it's so hard to bend and still is so inflamed. It's like, what the hell? That's one thing too I can tell is my fingers become really inflamed. I think that that is something like if I went in, that was where they'd say, oh, well, that's arthritis. That's autoimmune. That's our body attacking itself because it's in such fucking dire straits from all of the goddamn fucking poisons and shit that it's internally fucking falling apart. It's like, oh, just, it's aggravating. It's aggravating when you're just constantly trying to fight against their sickness. It's aggravating that you can't find any food to fucking eat. And everything is fucking. I saw, so there's a woman who opened a can of green beans and was eating the green beans right out of the can and ran across something that looks like a rotted finger. And so she called the FDA thing place, and then they called the manufacturer, and the manufacturer calls the woman. So then they want her to send the thing. So she's already separated. She's got two pieces. She's not giving them the whole thing. I don't even know if she's going to. Now she's kind of saying that she wants to keep things more quiet of what's going on. So I don't know if she's gotten an attorney or what is going on with the whole thing. But so this whole thing with this thing in the, it does look like a finger, or she said maybe it's a snake or something. It's gross looking. And she said she's so sick she can't even stand it. Like, she was puking all night, and then the next day she can't even think about it. She's like, and then so a whole bunch of people have been seeing those videos. Then a guy who had seen that video, he went to go open their corn for dinner, and it has some funk on the top. So he was like, you don't eat it out the can like that lady. So he dumps it, which this is not edible. This is like my flour thing. I still have the flour sitting there growing. I dumped out the dry flour, but the flour dough that is still sitting there is still growing. Still growing, whatever the fuck is growing in it. I don't know if it's a goddamn fucking alien or what the hell it is. And it's so crazy when you look at the flower, it looks perfectly fine. And I was smelling it and I was thinking, does it have a weird smell? Every time I go outside, I keep smelling weird smells. Like, I feel like that we're having been sprayed or something. Like, it's so weird. But the let me think, because it was something with the food. Oh, yeah. So he opened his can of corn and pours it into a bowl. And on the top, the corn looks okay. But then when you move it, it is some funk in it. And all of it turns brown. The liquid's brown. Oh, it's gross. It's gross. I mean, canned food is dangerous at this point. Everything. Every fucking thing. Like, even if you go get produce, it's fake, like sprayed. And you go get any of this stuff, it's full of what is that? Full of particulates, full of things that we don't want in it. And I don't know. This whole thing is so exhausting. This goes all the way back. I remember being younger and hearing, that's why I didn't want to ever eat cereal, because I always heard about that they're allowed to have a certain amount of bugs in it and a certain amount of rat poop in it. They're allowed a certain amount in each box because it's too impossible to get it to, with none. And I heard that for a long ass time. I was like, oh my God. And it doesn't mean we never had cereal at my house, but all of the different things. Flour, when I just saw that warehouse where they were doing the sugar, it was disgusting. The guy was like, he was doing the video to show us how disgusting. And this is how they treat our food. And then they are charging us a fortune for this shit right now. And as something that's got people really mad, that part will get people to go in a different direction. Everything is pushing people to go in a different direction, to look at things differently, to start seeing life through different eyes, to start, it's like a different approach to life. Like that is our evolution. One thing that is kind of, I don't know, this kind of bugs me or drives me crazy. I mean, I just can't stand how people are all on the categories and the diagnoses. Like, there's so many people. I'm Gen X, and I'm talking about the Gen X, and I'm millennial, and I'm talking about, all that shit. It's like, I get that we all have different perspectives from the different things in our generations and stuff, but they're not talking about it. I mean, I guess they're talking somewhat about it like that, but all the people just stay so divided over these labels that they created for us. Divide over these different things when we're more than this. We are souls that are billions of years old. We don't, these labels have nothing to do with us. And one that gets me so fucking, drives me so fucking crazy is autism. Every fucking person now, every motherfucking person is neurodivergent, autistic diagnosed. And I don't know if all the doctors or what the deal is, why that became, it's probably part of the awakening to get everybody to realize, what are you comparing yourself to? How is it that you think that you're different? Like, your difference is just who you are. There's nothing that's wrong with you. That's just who you are. It doesn't mean, how is it like we're not autistic or we're autistic? They have the neurodivergent, or what is they call people? Regular minded. It's some word that I don't know. It seems degrading to me. And that, to me, the people who are not neurodivergent, whatever they are, normsies, that they are just more disconnected from themselves. They're more wrapped up in their patterns than they think. The people who are more aware of their stuff, they become more with labels and diagnoses of autism. But it's kind of like to box people in. Well, you're just autistic. You just got something wrong. No, you don't. Nobody has anything wrong with them. It's just the way that you are. It's just the way you perceive. And you are a multitude of things and beings and places and things. And that people all think that you have to conform into this one identity. And if you don't, then you get labeled these things. And then they wear it like it's a banner. Like, oh, well, I'm autistic. Well, it's hard for me because, and then I saw this girl yesterday. She's like, well, I'm autistic. And I think it comes from both my parents. Both my parents are autistic. It's like, okay, people, right there. Can you not see? Like, we're all autistic. We're all, like, the only thing that makes you not autistic is your need to conform. Your need to go into a written identity that they created that's not autistic. Because the people who are not neurodivergent, they are just not tuned in to their own, their senses, to other patterns, to be able to notice different patterns and see things. Once you can do all that and see that stuff, then, when you go talk to a doctor about it, well, then they're going to tell you, well, the reason you're seeing that is because it's not really there, I guess. It's like the new thing with what they went off on the schizophrenics, probably before, when all those people were like waking up and saying, hey, there's beings around here talking to me. And some of them are mean. And everybody's like, well, you're crazy. Now it's like, with the same thing with the autistic. Yeah, but I see patterns. I see this. I notice this. I'm really aware of this. It's like, okay, well, that's just your way that you adapted into this environment. And there's a whole shit ton of us that adapted in the same ways. And it's the same thing with attention deficit, all their different diagnoses. You got to get off of their diagnoses. And also, even with all this borderline, narcissism, ragers, all their different stuff. Even addiction. Like everything is, you can become an addiction. Anything that you get out of balance on, anything you're using for a supercharge, like all these people, they don't look at themselves as being sex addicts. They don't look at it as like they're using sex like a drug. They think, well, I'm just going to hook up. I'm going to have a good time. I've got needs. Like and I can remember being this same way when I was younger, of like talking to people like, oh my God, you haven't had sex in 6 months? What's wrong with you? Like, how weird, how weird. And now it's like, no, I don't see it as weird at all. I see it as, it's like the Golden Palace, man. You want entry, you're gonna have to do a lot of work. Like it's not open for, anybody to come in. And a lot of people don't give themselves a value like that. It's open for business for whoever's got time, oh, we're in the same neighborhood at the same time. Well, let's hook up. And it's like, oh, I've got a lot more higher standards for that. Entryway into this Golden Palace is a little bit higher. And plus, it's not open for business like that. Once you already know who your person is, it's like, I don't need to go any more in betweens. It's like, I'll just wait until that person realizes I'm their person, and then we'll go off and ride off on a horse together and be happily ever after. But I don't need to go to all the in betweens. And just because somebody's attracted to me, that doesn't mean shit. Like I used to when I was younger. I used to think that that mattered, but that is when I didn't even see myself as attractive. I saw myself as being like a monster or something. Like I thought I was so strange looking. I thought I had a strange body. I was strange looking, and I was tall and weird. Like I didn't have high. I had a lot of confidence, and I don't know. I've thought about this before. Is because I would be told, a lot. Like people would see me as being very confident, but I didn't love myself. And I was thinking if it does have something to do with how people treat you, is people treat you how they see you. If they see you as attractive, they'll be nice to you. And even if you don't see yourself as being attractive, if they think you're attractive, they're going to treat you how they see you. And I just saw a guy who was saying that being an attractive woman is not, some great thing. Like all these people think, like, oh, that's so lucky. It's like when you're an attractive woman, most women who want to compete with you, they think you're out to get their man. They don't like you. They'll put you down. There's a lot of bullshit. They'll get you fired from jobs. And then men all like you. And then they all want a shot. And they think because they're giving you a fucking time of day that you should be giving it back. And they all want a shot. And then when you shoot them down, then all of a sudden they're angry at you like you've no business. You're just there for other people's gratification or what other people want from you. It's like there's people out there that people don't look at them like that there's anything to them. They're just there for them. And that is where it's changing too. That is the dark energy that people have, this disconnect from other people. Like, and that is the part with that NPC. See, that is that energy carrying it forward. Like, well, those people don't matter. They're just NPCs. Well, they don't matter. They're NPCs. Like, that's not the energy that we're going towards. Like, don't listen to those kind of people who say that kind of shit. And another thing, too, I just can't get off of this time jumping thing. It really, I put it into perspective with that movie Click, of clicking through each tragedy, each hard event, each time things got rough, just click out of it, which most of us would if we had the opportunity. That's why I said that you can't just get out that easy. Like people think, oh, well, if I just kill myself, I can get out. No. No. You can't get out unless that was always the intention. That's how you were leaving. That's how you were leaving the storyline. You can't just get out because that's it feels like, oh, today I want to tap out. No. You're in for the duration. You've got a window of time, and in that window of time that you don't know where it ends I mean, you know where it begins, but you don't know where it ends. And you've got to fulfill what you're here to fulfill. And a lot of people aren't even paying any attention. They're living in fear. They think they've got control over it. Well, if I just stay healthy, if I just don't go dangerous, if I just wear this, everything will be fine. It's like, no, there's a lot of things that people have to wake up to and see. But it's all about this taking control of yourself, taking control of your attitude, taking control of your impulses, how you look at things, how you treat people. Those are our evolution. Those are the things that are changing. Those are the things we're waking up to and changing. And in the process, it does create this compassion, this awareness. You start noticing what's happening with other people, and you have compassion and caring, and it's bringing up all of it's like igniting love inside of us. It's igniting this desire to it's like a peaceful kind of joyous kind of world. Like we're all through this trauma. See, like on that guy where he was saying about this looking glass thing and the direction. This is the thing, is like this awakening is pushing us to go internal and to create our desires in our mind of what it is that we don't like. We don't want this, but we would really like this. And that is how we're creating this new world. It's like we're pushing back on this old world. That's why it's a big, a huge part for you to be like, not like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't want that anymore. And to start playing in your mind what things would be better, like like start solving the problems. Like, what do we do when we're in such a dire straits with all of these homeless animals? We got all these homeless people, which there's more people saying that they're not just putting the animals to homeless people. It's the whole homeless situation is being taken out. And then it is more people now saying, and then it goes right back into your food. That's what I've been saying and saying and saying. Don't fucking kid yourself and think that they are wasting that fucking meat when you got all these people who are determined and ready to buy any meat, especially, if it's on sale or something. I don't even like to feed it to Stella. I wish that she didn't want to eat meat anymore. But I feel like, fuck, am I just feeding her, cannibalizing her? Like, I don't know. This whole thing is just so it is a difficult maneuver, and it isn't like we have control. It's not like we can, jump the timeline or move out of it or whatever. And if you think you can jump timelines, like, I mean, you would just be jumping through your life. Like everything that was there to teach you would be gone. I would just be no point. I just don't even understand it at all. I don't think any advanced soul will go, well, I'm just going to just jump. I'm just going to timeline jump right out of here. I'm not going to stay here for this. It's like, well, you're here for this for a reason. Like, there's a reason. Everything has a reason. There's a reason for things. Like, if you are not to that point in your mind, you've got some more things to work on to deprogram yourself, because there's purpose and meaning and reasons for everything. And it is so much more of this juvenile practice of us trying to control the uncontrollable, instead of relaxing into it, knowing, what's going to happen has got to happen. This has to play out. All these things have to play out. And I think most people can see at this point, like, we need a reset. We need a reset. And I don't know if it is going to be like, fuck, if there's going to be a huge amount of death or something. There's, so the whole Wyoming thing, oh yeah, because there's more, the Wyoming guy somehow has disappeared apparently. And all his videos are sweeping that stuff. The guy who was, the people talking about the DRAGONs, those people's accounts are being removed. One guy even lost his job for talking about them. So, I think that's a part of the drama. Like, well, we got to keep them quiet, but because you can't. Whatever, this is all going to play out. This is all coming. And if that's what's going to be, we're going to have those things flying around in the sky, then that's what's going to be. It's not something that we need to fear. And don't go into their storybook ideas of these, mean things that are just going to go around and killing us all the time. And then there, y'all as religious people talking about something with a Leviathan. They're all going to the book and saying, well, this, like, there's a third seal's open, there's this, there's that. So, I mean, this is just like a freaking whirlwind. I get all these different people and people, some of the spiritual people just saying wacky shit. It's like, jump your timeline, just jump it. It's like, well, you're here to experience it. So I don't think you can jump out of it. I think that seems like ridiculous to me. On a spiritual level, that your life is playing for you. And it's you who has to get more in touch with that experience, more in alignment with that experience, more in the vibration of your experience, not fighting your experience, fighting the world, fighting all of this battle, an internal spiritual battle, really. Like, you got to get more with what, I'm telling you, it's more just getting into, there's a purpose. You have a purpose. There's a reason you're alive. And to me, it all has to do with the experiencing, learning, and growing, because every experience brings in growth. Every experience brings in challenges, and every challenge that you figure out how to overcome, then it makes you stronger. It makes you more knowledgeable. It makes you wiser. It makes you, that's the gift. So life is giving you gifts all the time, but there's so many people just fighting against it and trying to control it, and it's impossible. So it's just going to frustrate you. And all you got to do is just remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day, because it's up to you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.